Computer. I've learned that anything could happen to your computer when you're recording the computer. All righty. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you all so much for joining us this afternoon. We are going to go ahead and get started with our seasonal Serenity program today. Just a moment while I share my screen. Hope you all can see it. All right, here we are. Okay, so some of you may know me already. I'm Dr. Demi Fozia, and I am in the capacity of AFIA, the AFIA Women's Collective today, and also the AFIA Project. So we work in partnership with the AFIA Project. The AFIA Women's Collective was formerly Healthier Picks LLC. So we're doing business now as the AFIA Women's Collective. And our aim is to curate health and wellness for women in the DMV area and beyond, because we have folks joining from out of county, out of state, out of country, in fact. So welcome you all. This will be interactive to an extent, the sessions. We have 4 panelists on with us today. They are going to have about 20 minutes of presentation time, and then afterwards we'll have a 15 to 20-minute Q&A with them. Some of you all already sent in some questions for individual panelists and also some general questions, which we will go through at the end. So one thing I want you all to note is the fact that this is an introductory session, so to speak. Inshallah, we hope to do full-blown individual programs with each of these panelists down the road, inshallah. So at some point, we'll have something on nutritional health. At some point, we'll have something more in-depth information, more in-depth discussion around seasonal affective disorder. Same with restorative yoga or yoga in general, and also working with Sister Tracy, the health coach. So bear with us. This is going to be kind of short. It's just to give you a snip of what each of these panelists have to offer to us. Our panelists include a psychiatric mental health practitioner, Sister Lola, a certified yoga instructor, Sister Bahia, Yakutullah, our registered dietitian, and also Sister Tracy Abdul Wahab, the certified health coach. Yes, and that's all as far as my introduction. So first we'll have it's in the order that you're going to present. Well, first we'll have Lola do the psychiatric mental health mental health practitioner talk to us about seasonal affective disorder. Then we'll have Bahia, the Yakutullah, and then Sister Tracy will wrap up. And then after that, we'll have our discussions and questions and answers. If you have any questions while the panelists are presenting, feel free to put those questions in the chat function, and we will be sure to address them. I'll collect them, and then we'll be sure to address them. Let me stop sharing my screen now. And I will pass it now on to Sister Lola. You are muted, Lola.
Peace and blessings. Assalamu alaikum. How is everybody doing on this blessed Sunday? I hope you all are doing amazingly well. Hope you all are doing well. So today, my topic is on seasonal affective disorder, also called winter blues. You may hear that term. Sometimes you may hear it called SAD. This is the acronym. So today we'll kind of be interchangeable. We'll use SAD, and you may hear me say winter blues sometimes, but all the same, we'll talk about, that feeling when the winter creeps into or the fall creeps into the winter, and those feelings that some people get, unfortunately, that need to be addressed. And some people don't recognize the symptoms. Well, we're here to talk about what it is, what SAD is, what are some of the symptoms, how to recognize them, and some really effective treatments, and how you can kind of attack those feelings, or how you can address them, more to say. Okay. So the first thing is, what is SAD? What is seasonal affective disorder? It's a variation in mood, which is dependent on the season. And there are 2 types of seasonal affective disorder. The most common that people often see are when the fall comes in or goes into the winter, that is the most prominent. But there's also the type that happens when there's that spring/summer, which is less common. So we'll talk more so about the fall and the winter seasonal affective disorder. It is more common in the northern states because it is sun dependent. Oftentimes what happens is it's a lack of light, and it is more, again, prominent in those polar states. Okay. And so when we talk about fall and winter seasonal affective disorder, you'll start to see a couple of common symptoms, but I do want to make a disclaimer because the seasonal affective disorder, SAD, is a subtype of depression, and not everybody experiences depression in the same way. So symptoms do vary. Okay. Some of the more common symptoms that one can see is you'll see the same symptoms that are very popular with depression. So you'll notice you're just tired a lot. You don't feel like getting out of bed. You just don't want to be bothered with things, the things that you are normally really happy doing. If you're a walker, you may notice that I just never feel like walking. I don't enjoy the things that I used to enjoy. You'll notice sometimes just feelings of sadness, just for no apparent reason, that are just persistent. You may notice a change in appetite. So some people who notice a change of appetite, well, actually pretty common, you'll notice very strong carbohydrate cravings. So that's very common. You'll notice weight gain, which often follows a lot of cravings if you're kind of giving into those cravings. You may notice that you really don't feel like eating at all. So both are really common. You may not notice that little things just kind of trigger you. You may notice a lot of irritability, or that things make you cry that just normally wouldn't. You just were like, why am I so moody? Like, why do I feel this way, right? Sometimes that same feeling people get before they start their menstrual period. You may feel that all the time as the days grow shorter and the darkness creeps in a little bit quicker. But then a really key thing is you may notice isolation, right? I used to want to just hang out with my girls every single weekend, every other weekend. And now I really just don't want to be bothered. I don't want to hang out. So you find yourself isolating more and more. Okay. Those are very common features of seasonal depressive disorder. But on the other hand, some people, depending on culture, depending on the individual, may notice other things. They may notice that they want to grind more often. They are always wanting to work. They're always wanting to compensate because they're trying to busy themselves to kind of cover up for a lot of those depressive like symptoms. That is their way. They are just coping. That is like their coping mechanism. So they want to be busy all the time, right? So instead of, they may sleep all the time, or they may be up all the time. They have issues just with their sleep, just regulating their sleep in general. So or you'll notice with some people that they want to help people all the time. Hey, how you doing? I'm just checking on you. How you doing? You're doing good. I'm just thinking about you. What can I do for you? All the time. If that's not necessarily their norm, you want to be in tune with yourself and like, what is making me always just kind of reach out and say, gosh, I just want to help everybody else, right? That's another coping mechanism. So some people manifest their depressive symptoms like that. Okay. Some things to kind of recognize and manage it, right? Again, you have to kind of be in tune with yourself and what's your norm and what's your baseline, and know that, okay, I'm a person that typically, I like to go on walks. I like to exercise. If I'm noticing that I never want to go on walks, I never want to exercise, maybe there's something up. I never want to hang out with my friends. Oh, this is just really not like me. And you're noticing it, that it's always around the same time of year. That's really a time to say, okay, well, maybe this is an issue that I deal with. Maybe I need to go and speak to a specialist, and talk to someone to see if there's something. There's many things that you can do to address those issues. I think one of the main things that I would suggest is, the first thing is to speak to a specialist. See if what you're dealing with is normal, if it's hormonal, if it's seasonal affective disorder, is it something that you are dealing with every single year, right? If you're irritable a lot just for no reason, definitely speak to someone. See if this is situational, or if is this something that's serotonin based. So seasonal affective disorder is serotonin based. Okay. So when there's lack of access to sun the way we have it in the spring and the summer, right? You have an influx of serotonin. That serotonin gives you that good feel good feeling, right? That blissful, I just want to go out, I just want to go and do things. I just feel happy all the time. I like soaking up in the sun, which is why in the winter time, if you are starting to feel that way, if you have the means to go to the beach, if you have the means to go to a different parts of Florida or something that's going to give you a lot of sun exposure, that's going to be really good for those symptoms. You may just notice that, man, you'll hear people say, I just went on that trip and it's just exactly what I needed. I just felt so blissful, right? But another thing that people can do, so I'll talk about pharmacologic and I'll talk about natural, right? Depending on your level, right? Because depression is on a spectrum. You have your lower end and then you have your higher end, obviously, or mid to high. So if you're dealing with moderate to severe and it's really affecting your work, it's affecting your relationships, it's affecting how you parent, it's affecting how you love yourself, then maybe pharmacologic, maybe medication may be an option, a better option for you, right? And I tell people, there is a big stigma around medication, unfortunately, but it's just like having high blood pressure. Maybe you'll need it right now, and maybe when you, lose some weight and get your health in order, maybe you won't need it. And maybe some people do need it long term, and then maybe that creates a better baseline for them, and they're at that point where they're like, wow, I just never even knew that I could feel this way. Right. So if you're going the medication route, then you're going with medications that boost serotonin, which are commonly the SSRIs, are first line of defense. That's where you often hear of like Prozac and Lexapro. These are very common options and they work relatively quickly. Some people notice a big difference in the first week. They notice more so a difference, notable difference between week 4 and 6. But that will kind of boost your serotonin level in the brain and allow you to get more of that feel good. It'll heighten your baseline so that you're not having really low dips. It'll kind of keep you real stable. People often say that I just realized that things roll off of me really easily. I'm not sitting in things a lot. So that's commonly what we hear. Another thing big is to increase your exercise. If you're not exercising already, either incorporate it or increase it. That is going to boost your serotonin levels immediately. And regular exercise is what you really want to do. It's all about consistency. So if you're exercising, if you can get 2 or 3 days a week in of exercise, you'll probably notice that you're just not as down, right? And you got to push yourself. You got to have people that keep you accountable and say, hey, did you work out today? Let's go to the gym. Because when you're in those states, it really is hard to get yourself out going to the gym, right? So surround yourself with your people that push you. But getting out, especially if you're going outdoors, if you're going out for walks in the earlier times of the day, if you are going out running, those type of things, they're really going to help that serotonin boost. Okay. Another thing which is so important, and I stress this, I cannot really stress this enough, is sleep hygiene. It is going to affect you in so many ways. Whether you are suffering from SAD, whether you're not, if you are not sleeping the way you should be sleeping, you're going to notice that you're more irritable, you're more tired, you're more likely to be depressed. Anxiety is often comorbid with depression. So you'll often see people who have depression or depressive symptoms, they often have anxiety, and a lack of sleep or lack of consistent sleep will really exacerbate those things. So when we say sleep hygiene, we mean not being on devices an hour before you go to sleep. I know it's hard. I know it's tough, but really, really, if you can cut it off 30 minutes, 45 minutes, and maybe read. I started doing a word search, which I love, but it doesn't give me that constant dopamine punch, right? So social media, TV, it's constant dopamine. So it's constant like that excitatory that really keeps you up and disturbs your sleep. Doing something, some dhikr, um, listening to a lecture, something that's going to wind you down, taking a shower, no exercise, right, at the very kind of latter part of your day. That's not that those type of things keep you up. Get a good routine in for sleep, right? And make sure you're getting adequate numbers of sleep. Supplement wise, I cannot stress enough. Magnesium, L3 and 8 is a great supplement. It's the only magnesium that crosses the blood-brain barrier. It's known to increase sleep. I personally use it. I think it's absolutely amazing. It helps with a lot of cognitive function. It helps with just kind of that clarity, mood, anxiety. So it's my favorite form of magnesium by far. So that's one of the things I would suggest. But another thing that people often use is a Lux light, right? So they call it light therapy. Lux light is a device that you can get on Amazon, a lot of other these platforms. You want to get a lux of no less than 10,000. And you set it up in the mornings, you do about 30 to 60 minutes, and it kind of it mimics that natural light. I don't think it mimics that natural light that you get from the sun. And it has been strongly as evidence-based practice. It really helps with mood with consistent use. Some people notice that they don't need as much because sometimes it keeps them really invigorated. But if you do suffer from SAD, that's definitely something you can look into. It's very effective. Okay. Definitely vitamin D. I can't tell you how often I test clients, and almost all the time, especially if it's women of color, we're inadequate vitamin D, and we want to have you at the higher, it's magnesium L3 and 8. And if anyone is interested, I have a supplement I can take. If you put your email, I can also send you a link to the one that I use. Vitamin D, please, check your vitamin D levels. Oftentimes we're extremely deficient. And so we don't really want it just at like maybe the 30, right? The 30 is kind of like that baseline of what they say is adequate. We want it at the higher levels, either the mid to the higher. So the 50, the 60, the 70 is really great for mood and anxiety, especially if someone who's dealing with SAD or any type of depression. And you want to increase socialization as hard as it is. I know the AFIA project does an amazing job with getting people together, and I think there's more to come there. But making sure that you have accountability partners, you have socialization. That could be going to the gym, that can just be talking, FaceTiming people more so in person, but that's going to just naturally increase those dopamine and serotonin levels. Okay. So overall, there's, you want to recognize it. You want to know what your baseline is. You want to know what's normal for you. You want to recognize when there's a slight shift, and you want to notice the consistent shifts, right? Because then oh, I think this is my time of year where I kind of get a little bit down. You want to speak to a professional. You want to incorporate, if you do notice those things, you want to look at what your options are. Definitely supplementation, checking labs to see if, oh, maybe my labs are just off and I can increase some of my supplementation that way, or electrolytes, whatever the case may be. And then medication management is a very efficient way, a quick way to kind of get you a little bit higher in your mood and get you out of that funk, to get you out of your winter blues. Thank you. Thank you very much. All right.
Okay.
I think pass it to Sister Fauzia.
Cool. Thank you so much, Lola. You know what? I do have to apologize. Please forgive me, Sister Lola, and everyone. I forgot to do your intro, so I'm going to do that now. I think I was
No
just
worries.
like trying to make sure everyone got in. So I'm going to do the intro right now, and you did that under 20 minutes. I greatly appreciate it. So Lola, Osena Lola Aremu is the owner and primary practitioner at Dua Psychiatric and Wellness, where she manages various types of mental health and behavioral challenges such as bipolar depression, anxiety, insomnia, and ADHD. She does it through medication and integrative means. With her client-centered, collaborative, and evidence-based approach, Sister Lola aims to provide feel-good care. So thank you so much for that. I greatly appreciate you, Sister.
Thank you.
And like I said earlier, when we first started, the idea is just to give you all an intro to things that we can make use of during this seasonal changes. And inshallah, we would have full-blown individual sessions or programs with each of these panelists that we have, this wonderful panelists that we have. So next up, and just you can keep the questions coming in the chat. We also collected some questions ahead of time, which we will address. And as I was looking through, I see that Lola has covered some of these questions already, which is great. hang on, I need to figure out this pin thing. I don't know how to do it right. Um, so she's already covered some of them, a number of them, but we'll present that at the end for Q&A. In the chat group, Sister Yakutola reminded us of the benefit of Surah Mulk. So I love how, mashallah, in gatherings like this, especially when we're all Muslim sisters, how we always tie everything we do to our spirituality. So thank you for that. Yes, that's a sunnah that we ought to try to revive in our homes rather than scrolling off in bed. I know I'm guilty of that, but inshallah, we'll do better. So next up is Sister Bahia. So Bahia Parks is a yoga instructor. She's a certified yoga instructor, and she's certified in various styles of yoga, including Hatha and restorative yoga, my favorite. So she helps us tune into our body's natural rhythms with the restorative yoga especially. In addition to offering yoga lessons in the community, each spring, Sister Bahia grows bouquets on her flower farm in Upper Marlboro. And we actually have some events we do on the farm. So please, please, please join us for bouquets and bubblies. It's always great to have that event each year. So it's here in Upper Marlboro, Maryland. And she also travels to study Arabic and Quran the rest of the year. I'm a little jealous, but I'm living vicariously through her. She is currently in Morocco right now. She was in Turkey a couple of years ago, so she's a traveler definitely. So anyway, without further ado, I would like to pass this on to Sister Bahia. Unmute yourself. Go ahead.
Am I muted?
Yeah, now you're unmuted.
Okay, alhamdulillah. Okay. Bismillah, walhamdulillah, wa Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad. Assalamu alaikum, sisters. It's nice to be here with you. I'm always happy to share yoga with my sisters. And I see some names of people I haven't seen in a while, so I'm so very glad that you joined us this afternoon. So, okay, I'm going to talk to you about a few things. I'm going to talk to you about grounding yourself, right? So if you're experiencing, seasonal affective disorder, a good way of dealing with that is grounding yourself, feeling grounded, feeling connected, not just to the earth, which is what we think of when we think of grounding, but also connecting to your heart, right? Connecting to your heart, connecting to Allah, right? And this is the best thing that we can always do for ourselves, So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about that. Of course, I'm going to share with you about yoga and the benefits of yoga. So yoga increases your serotonin levels, right? And when that happens, automatically you're releasing stress and tension from your body, okay? So yoga is wonderful for that, especially restorative yoga. So we are going to get to do some movement today. So alhamdulillah. And Fauzia, give me a 5-minute check, okay? Like when I'm 5 minutes, okay?
Will do. Will do.
We only have 5 minutes left. Make sure you warn me. Also, I'm going to talk to you about just creating a bedtime routine for yourself. Okay, because like our wonderful sister Lola said, having that sleep hygiene is so key, right? So creating a bedtime routine for yourself will help make sure that your body just naturally gets ready for bed and is ready for sleeping and resting, and you can get into some nice, good, deep sleep. Okay, so we'll talk about that too. So the first thing I want to say is, when we're focusing on grounding it's all about getting out of your head and getting into your heart. And so, recently, one of the things that I've been working on for myself is getting into my femininity more. Now, I'm a very feminine woman. I thought, right? Like, I wear earrings, right? I like to dress up, right? I like to look cute, right? But actually living in America most of the time, we're very masculine internally, right? We're working, we're taking care of the kids. So we're working in the house, out of the house, and we're always moving, right? Femininity is about slowing down, right? Not being in the head so much, moving into the heart and into the emotions. So this is exactly what you need to be doing if you want to ground yourself. Okay, so it all kind of fits in beautifully, right? So go into your femininity when you're having these kinds of depressive emotions and things like that. Go into your femininity. Part of femininity is play, right? And yoga is wonderful for this. For me, yoga is about playing. We enjoy our yoga, right? We laugh through our yoga, right? We're testing ourselves, seeing what we can do, what our bodies can do, what they can't do, right? So yoga should be fun. So your femininity is about being playful, about being joyful, being creative, challenging yourself. So lean into that, right? And that will help you ground. So now I'm going to do a breathing exercise with you, okay? So this is a really wonderful way to ground yourself also, right? Just doing deep breathing. So I'm going to show you what we call 3-part breathing in yoga. So you can all do this with me. And if you want, turn on your camera so I can see what you're doing in case you're doing something egregiously wrong, and then I'll correct you. Otherwise, I'm sure you're okay. So you're going to place one hand on your belly and one hand on your chest, okay? And what we're going to do is we're breathing first into the belly, then into the chest, and then we're breathing all the way into the collarbone. Your lungs actually extend all the way under the collarbone, but we don't usually utilize that much space in our lungs. So we're going to do that today, okay? So we're breathing first into the belly, chest, all the way to the collarbone. Now exhale, collarbone, chest, belly. We're keeping the mouth closed. Inhale, belly, chest, collarbone. Exhale, collarbone, chest, belly. Let's do one more. Inhale, belly, chest, collarbone. Exhale, collarbone, chest, belly. Okay, so just relax the hands, and hopefully you got a kind of sense of what that feels like. You know, in yoga class, we do other types of breathing also, but this is the most basic type of yogic breathing that we do. So I want to show you some very nice grounding poses that you can do. So when you're feeling, you know, off and you're feeling uncentered, you can do these grounding poses and they will help a lot, okay? So if you can get on the floor, come on down to the floor. Don't be shy, don't be scared. You can do it, you can do it. All right, so we're gonna lay on our belly. So you're laying on your belly, okay? And you're going to have your elbows bent, and your forehead's going to be on the ground. Now I'm going to roll.
I just turned it back on.
You just turn it back on? Okay.
So go ahead and do whatever you feel comfortable.
Child's pose. So when I'm doing child's pose, you can do child's pose without a blanket, but I like to have yoga blankets, and because they really support the body really nicely. So I'm going to show you with the blanket and without the blanket. So you're sitting down on your heels, and then you open up your knees as wide as your yoga mat. Now, from here, you can take the blanket and put it between the knees and relax down. So this is our child's pose. It's a very relaxing pose, very restorative pose. And you can also do the same thing without the blanket. You can use a pillow. A lot of my yoga clients, they use just their couch pillows, you know? So that's an option as well. Okay, and then the other thing that's really nice for grounding is coming into a wide leg seated forward fold. So you're gonna open up the legs wide, and now you're just going to fold forward. And again, the blanket comes in handy for this, right? You can fold down, stack your hands on top of each other, and rest your forehead. And just breathe here. And in each of these poses, you want to stay for a minimum of 6 breaths. So like I said, use a blanket or pillows, or you can just come on down, right? I'm just coming down onto my forearms and dropping my head. So those are some excellent grounding poses that you can do. The next thing I want to talk to you about is it's some things that you can do that will kind of energize you, okay? So all of those poses that I just showed you were kind of grounding poses. Now I'm going to show you some poses that will energize you. So Fauzia, can you ixnay on the recording, please? Hey, Fauzia. Okay, now you can. I was just going to say, all right. So now I'm going to show you a twist. So twists are really important to do for our general health in general, you know, because twisting the spine allows your body to keep that flexibility, right? In yoga, we say you're only as young as your spine is flexible. So take your right leg and bring it over, right? And then you take your right arm behind you. Your left hand, you're just gonna grab onto the knee and turn your head. So you're looking behind you. So this is your twist here. So as you inhale through the nose, you get taller. As you exhale, you twist more into the pose. Good. And then you're turning the head back and releasing. And we'll do the other side. So left leg over, left hand behind, grab onto the knee, and look over the shoulder and breathe. So ideally, you want to stay in the pose at least 6 breaths and turn the head back and releasing. So both legs are straight. And now we're going to start talking about our bedtime routine, okay? Things that we can do. How are we doing with time, Fauzia?
You have 3 more minutes plus the 5 minutes.
Oh, okay.
So 8 minutes.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so the things I want you to remember, right, for your bedtime routine is disconnect, reconnect with yourself, right, and your feminine energy, and then tune inward, right? And when we're tuning inward, we're tuning into Allah. We're not reconnecting with Allah because Allah is always connected with us already, right? We're the ones that are not conscious of that, right? But become conscious. Once you disconnect from everything, and when I say disconnect from everything, I'm sure you're thinking the phone, like Lola said, get rid of that phone, right? Before bedtime, which is wonderful. But also disconnect from them people, okay? Disconnect. Look, you can't have them coming for you all the time. They can't. I'm sorry. Disconnect, ladies. They
You mean
cannot.
the kids, the babies?
That's what I mean. You know I need the kids.
Mashallah.
You have to have some time to yourself, okay? You need some time to yourself, all right? Come on, 10 minutes before bed, please give yourself that time and say, this is mama time. No, do not enter. Okay, so be vigilant, okay? Guard that time. Disconnect, and then reconnect with yourself and your femininity. This is a wonderful time to romanticize your life, right? Romanticize your bedtime routine, okay? Create a beautiful bedtime routine for yourself, right? Light some candles, dim the lights, right? Have the flowers next to your bed, put on your pretty pajamas, right? Get into bed with your book, right? I have my oil next to my bed. I rub my feet, right? I rub my hands. Both when I brush my teeth, I put my oil in my hair. All of these things are sending signals to my brain. It is shut down bedtime time, right? Like Pavlov and his dogs. I condition myself, okay? I am conditioned. My body is like, okay, it's time to go to sleep. So do this for yourself, okay? It's extremely important. What's something else I wanted to say. Oh, tea, right? Have your tea, have your cup of tea. And tea can be such a wonderful aid in your healing, right? And in your relaxation. So have chamomile tea. Chamomile is a mild sedative, right? Have lemon verbena tea, also very relaxing and calming to the nervous system. So there's many teas you can have. Fauzia loves her essential oils to put into the diffuser. Put some lavender essential oil into your diffuser, right? Just set the stage, romanticize your bedtime routine, and be ready. Now, something you can also do, of course, is, I know Lola said not to do exercise before bed, but doing restorative yoga is perfectly fine. We have a restorative yoga class on Wednesday night from 9 to 10 o'clock. And those sisters are ready for bed after. Some of them fall asleep in the last 5 minutes of the class. And
that's me, every class.
And they tell me, they say that Wednesday night is the best sleep of their week, you know, because it just calms the whole body down and gets their body ready for sleep. Okay, so we're going to do some of the restorative yoga poses. So I showed you before the child's pose. So that's one of the restorative yoga, right? Yoga poses. I'm going to show you another one now. So again, we always, in restorative yoga, we really are always using blankets and pillows, right? Just looking at this blanket, my body relaxes. I swear to you, I'm conditioned just by looking at the blanket. Fauzi, are you conditioned by just looking at the blanket by now?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so supported bound angle. You're going to put your blanket or your pillows towards the end of your yoga mat. And then you want to just bring your feet together, okay? And you have your knees bent, and they're just lifted up. You can do this without blankets or pillows, but it's much more effective because it allows the spine to fully flatten onto the floor if you lift up the feet, okay? But you're gonna just lay back and relax here. This is it. This is the pose. So I hope that you're trying this and not just watching Bahia, okay? I hope you're trying it because you can see it is a very relaxing pose. And when we're ready to come out, just bring the knees together and roll yourself onto your side. And when you're doing your restorative poses, it's good to have a timer, right? I know, then you have to use the phone, right, for the timer. But go ahead and put 2 minutes on your timer and just stay in your pose for 2 minutes. Fauziya, how are we doing with time? Can I show something
You
else?
have 2 more minutes.
Okay, all right, let's see. Okay, I want to show you a chest opener. So for this, you need something that's a roll, okay? This is going to be supported fish, okay? So for supported fish pose, this is a wonderful chest opener. Chest openers are heart openers, right? So if you're feeling lots of negative emotions or just, you know, too many emotions even, right? Like maybe you're just extremely happy, right? To get rid of some of that, okay? To dissipate some of that, okay? You can try fish pose. So I'm going to show you how to do this. So you're going to lay your roll towards the top of your yoga mat. Now you're going to lay back and your legs are straight, feet together. But listen, don't have this under your lower back. It's got to be higher up. It's going to be under your chest. You're laying back and you're dropping your head on the floor. Okay, arms are out to the side. And you'll feel, if you're in the pose, you'll feel your chest feels very open. It's a beautiful, nice feeling. Your head is a little upside down. And you want to stay here for 2 minutes. And when you're ready to come out, just roll your body onto your side and come on up, okay? So ladies, I hope that I have given you some wonderful things to think about. And inshallah, I hope that, you know, if you are suffering from seasonal affective disorder, that you try some of these and utilize these. And even if you aren't, I hope that you're bringing some of these ideas into your bedtime ritual for yourself so you can get some nice deep rest. Okay, that's it.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. And with 6 more seconds to eat out. Hang on real quick. Thank you so much for that. But yeah, I can share with you that I did at least 3 things from all the stuff that you mentioned between last night and today. So last night I lit some candles. I also made it a point to kick out the kids from my room. It's like, I need to sleep now. And this morning, I call it my wake up roll. I forget the technical term, but that's what I did to get myself up this morning. So thanks for that. I'm becoming a better yoga student.
That's right. Good job. Good job.
Mashallah. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay. So next we have Sister Yakutullah. She is the owner of Nutritional Prescriptions, LLC. It's a consulting practice that specializes in recipe development and analysis, nutrition education, and women's health. She loves empowering women to learn and apply evidence-based nutrition into every facet of their lives and to understand the connection between faith, health, and wellness. So with that, it is up to you, Sister Yakutullah. Go ahead.
All right, awesome. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Alhamdulillah, thank you for joining us from near and far. This is amazing. I am going to present. Let me know if you guys can see this.
Yes.
Okay, awesome. Alhamdulillah. All right, Bismillah. Today we're going to be talking really about looking at nourishing our bodies and our minds, right? There's a lot that goes on with the seasonal changes. I do really appreciate all of the participants and the practitioners on today. You guys have a wealth of knowledge and information shared. And we are really just going to focus today on balanced nutrition for year round. So we're into the fall and winter season and looking at how we can really optimize our nutrition. So I believe in looking at experience and looking at our interactions. As a practitioner, I've been practicing since 2007, and I work primarily with women in the community as well as veterans, women veterans. And I often talk about, the power of nutrition and the power of nourishing our bodies. And I always ask this question. I always ask, what matters to you? Right. So as we get into the discussion, really think about what matters to you. Okay. As the year progresses, we're into fall and winter, and we're looking at seasonal changes. I remember growing up, my mother, my aunties, they always had things that they would do. They had practices they would do with the change of season, right? Looking at how we can really nourish our minds and bodies and help to maintain that health, that energy, that good mood, right? Realizing that, yes, nutrition definitely impacts our immune function, right? And oftentimes people talk about that, when fall and winter comes, but we really want to look at how can we optimize that? How can we really infuse that energy and promote good moods, looking at overall well-being throughout the year. Of course, when we talk about nutrition, we're talking about personalized nutrition, right? Nutrition is not a one size fits all. When I approach the discussion, when I approach recommendations for nutrition, I always ask what matters to you. Where do you want to be? Where are you now? And where do you want to be, right? What are some of your goals, right? Looking at essentials, looking at the fact that individuals will definitely have different needs, and really just taking the time today to explore tips to stay focused, to stay motivated now, throughout the holidays, in the new year. A lot of times around this time of year, people tend to set goals, right? Tend to say, hey, what are my resolutions? We want to be in a thought process. We want to be in a mindset that we're thinking about this all year long. It's not just the end of the year. Oh my God, let me get it together. I have less than 3 months left, right? We want to really be thinking about this. How can we optimize our strategy, make sure it's solid in order to optimize our body's ability to heal, right? To focus, to rejuvenate. I did want to take some time to look at specifics and really just looking at the importance of planning ahead, right? So we oftentimes get on webinars and we get, great information, but we want to make sure that we are incorporating that information so that we can be where we want to be, right? Preparing ourselves in advance. If you're going to be out, we are social creatures, alhamdulillah, for community, but looking at what type of food choices are we going to have, right? What and how can we empower our nourishment to look at healthy snacks, even before and after, really looking at how do we reduce temptation, or overindulging and making mindful choices, which is really important. Oftentimes when we go to events, not just, end of holiday here in the United States, but if we're, traveling and things like that, we're going to be presented with a variety of dishes. You want to survey your options. You want to look at, hey, what's really my favorite food? What do I want to try? And then really be mindful about what you choose in the beginning. What do the portions look like, right? What do you think you'll go back for seconds on? The importance of staying hydrated is really important. Oftentimes in the summer, in the spring, we tend to say, oh, I'm going to stay hydrated. I'm carrying around my water bottle. Yay. But what happens in fall and winter, right? We want to make sure that we carry those healthy habits over and don't forget to stay hydrated, right? We get busy sometimes. Be mindful about, this is what I'm going to drink. If it's water, if it's electrolytes, I oftentimes remind myself as well, not just water, but electrolytes, because that's really important. It not only helps to regulate your hunger cues, but it also helps to support your digestion. And I think it's really important to look at, your waters, your teas, your bone broths, and different things, your high water content, fruits and vegetables that we can be mindful about incorporating within our nutrition strategy. Being active, and Sister Bahia and Dr. Lola also talked about this, whether it's maintaining something regular that you're already doing as a routine, find moments to move, right? Staying active will actually support, right? Not just your physical health, but your mental well-being, right? So we talk about, mental soundness, we talk about mental health, but we want to make sure that we're also incorporating the movement aspect. And I often, tell my patients in clinic and, my clients, the importance of movement. Now, you may not be a runner, right? I'm a runner. I love to run 3 days a week. We just did 10 miles, I think, a few days ago in Atlanta for the 10 miler. But the fact that you have a consistent plan that you're going to do on a consistent basis, right? Whether it's 3 days a week, whether it's 5 days a week, something that you can do. It can be cardio, it can be yoga. I love yoga, okay, for recovery, all right? I have this app that I use, this Peloton app, and it has like hundreds of yoga that ideas that I can get on for, the mobility in the morning and the cool down and the restorative in the evening. It's just so many opportunities. The key for you is to find your movement. What do you enjoy doing, right? Some people like yoga, some people like running, some people like cycling. You have to find what energizes you and make sure that you incorporate that on a regular basis, okay? The importance of really slowing down, right? Around the holiday seasons, people are fast and, we got gatherings and we got vacation and we have family in town. Really slow down when we're eating and savor each bite. Actually take time to carve out that time like you do at night for your sleep hygiene routines. Take time for your meals, right? Take time so that you can really notice the textures and the aromas, appreciate the sensory experience of eating. How many times have we eaten and then not remember what we ate? What did I eat and how much did I eat? I don't even remember, right? Because either you were multitasking, you were doing a lot of other stuff, you were watching TV, or you were driving, or you were running after them kids, Sister Bahia. Okay. Take the time to listen to our body. It has an incredible way of communicating our needs, right? And your body has rights over you. Pay attention to your hunger cues. Know that there's a difference between emotional cravings, right? And we get a lot into this with our food is mood class. Emotional cravings and general physical hunger that comes on slowly. It's not all of a sudden, oh, I need this. Or you walk past a Krispy Kreme box and now you're hungry. No, it's likely more of a craving, okay? Trust your body to guide you. It knows what you need. It's talking to you. It's up to you to listen to it. Eliminate distractions. I mentioned the TV. Put away your phone, okay? Even when you go to sleep, you're going to put away your phone, right? When you're eating, put away your phone. Really focus in and hone in on that time that you have to nourish yourself and be fully present during your meals, right? Being able to recognize your body signals, leading to healthier choices, right? Actually improving digestion, right? So the whole mindful and intuitive eating is another aspect that we also, cover in nutrition, okay? Being able to really look at practicing gratitude, right? I always say Bismillah, Alhamdulillah. This is the wisdom of our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So make sure before you dive into that meal, you actually take some time. you know, bless your food, you know, as my aunties and uncle would say, or say, Bismillah on your food, pray over your food, right? Because you're able to cultivate that experience. You're able to cultivate really preparing to nourish your body. And you actually take more away from that experience. And it actually creates this sense of gratitude and perspective over your food, right? When we look at that, it's just a constant reminder. And surely a reminder benefits the believer. But we also want to look at specifics, right? So every first Monday of the month, November 10th is our next one. We have a nutrition webinar, and we really go over how to optimize your nutrition strategy, right? What to include, okay? Throughout the year, of course, we're in fall and winter now, but even throughout the year, what does your nutrition strategy look like, okay? Looking at specifics, are we including the fruits and vegetables? What are your preferences around fruits and vegetables, right? What do you enjoy? What do you like to eat? Are we incorporating those lean proteins? Those lean proteins are critically important, especially as we age. We tend to not get as much of that lean protein that we actually require for healthy aging, right? That's another aspect I tend to cover. Healthy fats. What do your hard healthy fats look like? Okay. If you have specifics around, you know, plant-based or animal-based, what are you eating? Whole grains, right? What are you including? What can you include? Are you doing gluten-free for whatever reason? Can you have gluten-containing grains? What do your multivitamins look like? A lot of times, you know, I see a lot of women, especially in a clinical setting, that are deficient. And when we say deficiencies, we're talking specific deficiencies: iron, B12, severe deficiencies, less than 10 on the vitamin D scale. And then we're looking at repletion doses. When we look at repletion doses, we're talking, you know, under 30, and we're trying to get you up to therapeutic levels. And we're looking at repletion doses of 50,000 units once a week for like, you know, 2 weeks. Okay. Omega-3 fatty acids, probiotics, what are they? How do we include them within that nutrition strategy? Okay. I mentioned specifically vitamin D. You have others, the iron, the B12, but the vitamin D is crucially important because it actually helps with so many other functions in the body. And it also helps when your levels are therapeutic to actually prevent some of the chronic diseases, including diabetes. So when we say vitamin D for us in our community specifically, because a lot of times we are melanated, we're covered up when we go outside, right? So that the sun is not directly getting to us, okay, unless we're prolonging our time outside. And overall, we tend to be very deficient in vitamin D. Okay, so looking at what are our levels? When's the last time we had a lab draw? What was do we even know our vitamin D level, right? Are you taking oral vitamin D? Are you taking liquid? And what are some of the best options, okay? It was interesting. I usually kind of look at the research because it's important, but looking at not just combining nutrition, yes, lifestyle modifications go hand in hand. The complementary therapies that we're going to ensure for comprehensive care, and then making sure that you actually have someone, a coach or community member that you can actually talk to, right? Whether it's your healthcare professional, whether it's your doctor, a coach, okay, that you can actually talk to make sure that you stay in line with your goals. It's crucially important, okay? We also want to make sure that we're getting the best resources, okay? The nutrition bundle resource you have access to, exclusive free resources, and then again, you have access to the monthly webinar, and you can use that QR code to sign up. Again, it is Monday, November the 11th, and it's at 6 o'clock. So that is a prolonged session that we do once a month. It really allows you to get in to community, ask those questions in a safe space around nutrition, and then get additional resources that you would need. Okay. I'm actually I think I dropped it in the chat, but there are 2 links, one where you can sign up for the webinar, and one specifically around foods that actually help your mood, okay, like brain foods. So I really invite you to really explore those resources. Feel free to reach out, ask for, you know, help if you need it. And then, you know, we can look at, you know, specifics that you might need along the way.
All right. Thank you so much, Sister Yakutullah. This is great. I really do appreciate this. Hold on. Thanks. great advice. I've reshared the link, so everyone, please feel free to click on them and make use of that resource. I really look forward to having you once again because it's with nutrition for me anyway. It's like I have to always hit that reset button because you know you start out great and then you kind of waver off, especially if you have kids and you're left eating the leftovers and stuff like that. But it's great to hear, you know, affirmation of things we already know we should be doing. So I greatly appreciate that.
Alhamdulillah, thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, so next we have Sister Tracy Abdul Wahab. So Sister Tracy describes herself as a zealous health and wellness enthusiast. No, you know, that's very accurate. Mashallah. She radiates positivity and bold energy with her infectious smile and love for thriving and fun loving. She encourages others to embrace yummy and nutritious, nourishing rather, choices for their entire being. Sister Tracy describes herself as a lifetime student of leveling up, a get grounded kind of girl, a dancer to her own beat or none at all, a nature lover, board game challenger, a love to see my peeps win. Yes, community cheerleader. And she's a tutu, a grandmom to two beautiful babies. So welcome, 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 Sister Tracy. It's always a pleasure to have you.
Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Hey, ladies. Ooh. So listen to all these wonderful sisters. Let me start my timer. There we go.
I got you. Don't worry.
Okay. And if you could share, so I can share my screen.
Yes,
Is
go
it cool?
ahead.
I can do it. Okay. Thank
Yes,
you. All right, y'all. Share. All right, move y'all out the way. Oh, I don't want it in a presenter video. Sorry, y'all. Wait a minute. Gotta move y'all out the way so I can see. There we go. Cool. All right. So what I will be sharing today with you lovely ladies, and some of the things are redundant, so I'll just go shh. But also sometimes, you know, we need to hear things multiple times in order for it to really resonate with us. But I won't spend time there because we've already heard a lot of things from our wealth of knowledge presenters that we've had thus far. But so what I was asked to present with is creating a way of creating some type of a sanctuary and a space for ourselves. And when we hear sanctuary, we often think of just a space in which our body resides in. So our homes, our masjids, our work, somewhere. But sanctuary first starts with our bodies. Because sanctuary is a safe and sacred space. So inviting us to look first internally before we go externally, to help us first with our emotional and mental well-being before we go out as these phenomenal women, alhamdulillah, and pour into the world that we're first pouring into ourselves. So I'm looking at ways that we can provide some type of positive, cozy environments that will support our leveling up. So going to the next page. So nourishment. And so Yakutala, she already talked about nourishment, but we cannot talk about the sanctuary, our sacred space, without, you know, first talking about the things that we eat. So again, I'll keep it short here. So having our balanced meals, having a rainbow of colors, which is a beautiful thing, whole nutrient dense meals. And so I've listed a few things because eating in season is imperative. Although things are accessible to us here, whatever we want, it's easily for us to reach and consume it. But for the healthier benefits of our bodies and our minds and our energy, we should try to eat in season. So things like, and these foods also help to enhance our moods and our brain function. So our Brussels sprouts, pumpkins, winter squash, sweet potatoes, pomegranates, oranges, nuts, and seeds. And we have the hydration there. And, you know, like Yakutul also said, we carry around our canteens, but how often are we hollering at it? Are we speaking to it, sipping it, and adding a little to enhance that for the but electrolytes is a great thing to do as well, what she shared. and mindful eating. And so with my business, It's All Food, the reason I decided to name my business this is because everything that we are involved and engaged in is feeding us. So everything is food, whether or not it's good for us or not, it's still a form of feeding us. So mindful eating of the foods that are on our plate as well as off of our plate. So if we're spending time with our food, we spend time with our food. It's a barakah, it's a blessing. So show gratitude for it. We supplicate with each meal, each snack, each sip, each bite. I often tell my clients, share with my clients that we're often putting things in our mouth. It could be a mouth, it could be a bite of this, a sip of that. But are we taking the time to actually make a dua each time? That will help us also to pay attention. How often am I putting something in my mouth? And what am I putting in my mouth? So supplicating with each meal, each snack, each morsel, each bite, each sip. And then again, savoring the flavor. 20 seconds, and it is a challenge. I'm speaking to myself first. It is a challenge, but digestion first starts in the mouth. So trying to look at the food, smell the food, feel the texture, allow the tongue to do what it was provided, what it was created to do. Often, like when I do juices, my father's 80, alhamdulillah, he'll say, what you doing that juicing for? You know, you got teeth for a reason, alhamdulillah. Yes, we have teeth for a reason. But it's also a beautiful thing sometimes to embrace a juice experience. So mindful eating and reading. So that recitation of the Quran is also an imperative way of feeding our bodies, feeding our minds, feeding our moods, feeding our spirits. And rest. Oh my goodness. This right here. Even for me, I still struggle, especially with now post-menopause. It's still a challenge. But when I do rest, I notice the benefit of the rest. And so one of the ways is have a plan and start with the plan of when will my wind down time start? What will consist of my bedtime routine? Creating a relaxing environment. And we've heard that with all of the presenters, having a relaxing environment, having a bedtime routine. And it's whatever fits you. It could be self-massages of the hand, of the foot, having aromatherapy nearby. It could be journaling, whatever it is that helps you, but just a few minutes. Sometimes we think we have to have so much time for us to have that disconnect and connect with ourselves, but we only just need a little bit. And as time permits, inshallah, maybe we'll be able to grow in that practice of that wind down bedtime, wind down bedtime routine. The other thing to help us establish and create that is to limit, we've heard this again, reduce the screen time. And it's funny, Sister Lola is on here, ironic, because I remember one time we were out shopping and she bought this, it was a cute little case, little display thing we would put on our living room table or something. And I asked her, what is she using that for? And she said at a certain time, her and her husband were going to put their cell phones in there. And, you know, to detach from it. And I was like, oh, that's a great idea. You know, so reducing our screen time, as challenging as that may be in this day and age, reduce our screen time. Set a time that we're deciding to shut it down. It's easy for us to give these rules and stipulations to our children, but we, in fact, should also feed them back to ourselves. Limit our fluid intake. As much as we want to be hydrated, we want to make sure that we're not hydrating so close to bedtime that is breaking our sleep. So that is the other thing. So it's like drink more, a lot in a day, and then it decreases in the middle of the day. And by night closer to when we're going to bed, we want to limit that intake. And it's other ways that maybe you want to suck a little ice or something, or you can eat a piece of fruit because it's hydration that comes in our food as well. And bring back that old school alarm clock. So the first thing in the morning, if we are setting our alarms, we're not touching our cell phones to turn that alarm off. And because a lot of times what can happen, we may read a text message, we may read an email, it can just take us down that rabbit hole. And the next thing you know, we spent 10, 15, 20 minutes on our cell phone. So bring back the old school alarm clock, and they still sell them. The other thing are power naps. I would always be amazed at my husband, how he can take 15 minutes and just pop back up, and then he's able to zoom, zoom, zoom a little more. So if we're planning our day, let's look and see if there's somewhere in between that maybe we can't get a 10 or 15-minute reset somewhere. Even if we don't fall asleep, it's a reset. Maybe we're just doing some grounding, breathing exercises that Bahia showed us. Maybe it's just sitting and reflecting. Maybe it's just letting our forehead just relax, because often these muscles right here, they always up and the shoulders always tight. So just using a little few minutes, either for a power nap or time to just be with ourselves and find stillness. Emotional resilience. So here are just some things that we could possibly, if we like, to incorporate to help us, because stress is natural. We get stressed even when your body incurs stress, even when we work out. So the environment is stressful. Just stress is natural, but we want to minimize how much stress, and then also how do we handle it. So journaling could be something. And again, starting with small, little, steady, consistent steps instead of timer. And again, it could be alarm clock timer, 3 to 5 minutes. Or if you want to just start at a minute, 60 seconds, you can get so much done to release and reflect some of the day's feelings. You know, what happened today? You know, what did I feel good about myself today? What would I like to improve upon for tomorrow? So different things like that. Mindfulness and meditation. Let's just pause and relax your body, relax your eyes, relax the muscles in between your brains and your shoulders. Find stillness and connection with your breath. And now taking a deep inhale through your nose, and then an audible exhale out your mouth. And if your eyes will close, you may open them again. And just brief moments like that bring us serenity. So when we're driving, don't close our eyes, but try to relax, not grip the steering wheel so hard. Check in with our shoulders. How are they feeling? You know, throughout the day, just try to snatch and seize those moments so that you can find stillness and foster some grounding and calming energy, recentering ourselves. And these can be things that we can bookend our day with. So before jumping out of the bed, we can just sit there for a few seconds and just give thanks. Alhamdulillah, for a new day, for awakening me, for my family, for my home, for just the list is infinite. So a little moment there, and then a pause also for the breath. And here's something else that's very imperative. It's connecting with others, and we've heard that today as well. And it can be on a weekly or a monthly basis that we vibe with our tribe, because it is so important that we connect. And even if we can't do it in person, our schedules do not align, let's look at least coming on social media, not social media, but coming on here virtually like we are doing through Zoom, so that we can look at each other's faces and we can see how each other feels. Because sometimes texting, I can't feel you in a text. You know, I can't feel how you're doing. So you can't feel how I'm really doing. So if we're unable to get it in person, let's do some live video chats as well. And then engaging in creative activities. And that can be painting, it could be creative writing, it could be playing music, it could be dancing, outdoor activities, anything that can help elevate our endorphin levels to put us in a better mood and a better place, inshallah. And then additional tips here are physical and spiritual activities is twice. Physical and spiritual activities. So find and embrace a form of movement that suits you. The thing is, let's not look at, oh, I don't like this, I don't like that, I don't like this. No, well, what do I like? So fine, because there are so many different forms of movement. It's just like Yakutullah said, she does running. My knees are saying no more running. Sports medicine doctor said, no more running. So, but I love strength training. I love weights. I love cycling. I love my Peloton. I love the yoga. So it's so many different things. I love dancing. I enjoy hula hooping. So I enjoy hiking. So there's a plethora of things. So explore what speaks to you. And then again, the breathing exercises, some are for grounding, And then some are for invigorating us, giving us some energy. And of course, our supplication and prayers. And but even although that is at the bottom, by no means am I saying that is the final, the last thing. I'm just sharing that there, but that can be also bookends and in the middle of the day. And for waking up in the morning, Yasin is the beautiful surah that either we can read it, we can recite it, we can listen to it, inshallah. And set boundaries. Okay. Let me hear you say no, 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 no. Okay. And I really mean no, 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 no. That is really I think for women, a lot of times a challenge to say, but it is so important for us to say it and realizing that it doesn't require, it's a complete sentence. No, that's it, nothing else. So no. Of course, saying it politely and with compassion, but no. And sometimes saying no to ourselves because we can overextend ourselves first. And then here's an affirmation because I love affirmations. So speaking life into ourselves. So I am embracing, and read this aloud to yourself. I am embracing and loving myself at every stage of my journey. Because we want to be mindful that regardless of where we at and we have improvements, we still want to appreciate and thank Allah for where we are right now. And inshallah, if we continue to be mindful and active and intentional, we'll improve upon ourselves. And then seek professional support. That is so important. I love that I'm seeing more of us in our community in this role, that I love seeing more of us not participating, more of us actually seeking and receiving professional support. It is so important as well. So here is another affirmation here. And so inviting us to say that to ourselves as well. I deserve all the peace and tranquility that my heart and home may embrace in every supportive form, because it can be in the form of all of the things we listed, as well as having that professional support. So nurturing our spaces. So this was our internal, what we just did. That was our sanctuary, our internal being, our internal well-being. Now we're looking at our external. And we've heard some of these things as well, but we want to have a home that is purposeful and positive, that environment, that space, so that we can thrive and shine. So sharing just a few things here for that. So we need order in the house. So order in the home, order in the home. So decluttering our space so that we can see what is really necessary, what is needed. There's a time in the season, a reason for everything. Is that time still here? Is that season still here? Fall is here. So have we removed our spring and summer items so that we can make space for the fall and winter? Can I look at something and say, is this really me? Do I need this right now? Am I through with this? Was it ever meant for me? What is the purpose? And then we organize. So we categorize, we put things in an order, we have labels, we designate the space for the thing so that it's easy for us to access the things. We should be able to see our items that we have in order for us to benefit and use the items. A lot of times, I know, speaking for myself, oh, I'm gonna hold on to that because I think I'm gonna want to wear that sometime. Oh, I'm gonna hold on to that because I just need to release a few more pounds and then it's gonna fit right. And I'm not calling anybody out, I'm calling myself out, but those are the kind of things. So we want to just make sure, do we need to continue to hold space for those in our home and in our heart? And only we can answer that. And then another affirmation, because we need to have that space clean. So we're organizing it, but also cleaning it. So my home is a peaceful sanctuary filled with harmony and order. I embrace the joy of a clean space that nurtures my well-being.
Really quickly, 3-minute check-in.
Thank you. So natural elements, and we can just see these plants and flowers, natural light, life yields life. So that is why it's important for us to be around people, healthy people, and also to bring that natural element in via light, flowers, plants, aromatherapy, cozy zones. Create a space in your home. This is my husband's space I'm in. He has a chair in the corner, a lamp, the plant, those kind of things. So you can meditate, reflect, read, have your aromatherapy, have it already set up. It can be just a little nook in your bedroom. But whatever it is, create it for yourself. And then our kids will follow and try to emulate these things as well. Calming colors. I love colors, and it's important. They set the mood, they set the tone. So in the wintertime and fall time, we often see orange, and then it goes to gray and black and burgundies. There is not a rule, maybe fashion dictates it, but there's not a scripture that says we need to wear a certain color in the fall or the winter. So if yellows enhance you, make you feel more vibrant, go for yellow, go for greens, go for blues, whatever it is that makes you feel better. Any personal touches you need to add in your home, your art, store purchase, collages, photos. In the office, we have things from visits that we've done around the world. I bring a memorabilia bag and I place it in there. It makes me feel good. It reminds me that it's time to travel again. Limit noise and distractions. This was already said as well. 1 minute. Shutdown times. What time? What is my noise ordinance in my home? What is the time that I will shut it down? Designate no technology here zones as well. So when I come here in this space, this is my space where I will quiet my mind and sit still. The lighting, Lola spoke about lighting. And holding space with our sisters. Again, invite that connection. Life yields life. So that is another reason why it's very important to have them good vibes with us in our tribe, because we need them to liven us up. And then the daily practices. Morning cup of tea or coffee, journaling, quiet time, stretching, self-massages, and breath work. These are things that we can either do in the morning or the night, just to establish some type of a routine so that it can help us to be balanced, help us to be healthy, help us to be calm, help us to be energized. And lastly, adapt as needed. Check in with ourselves on a daily and a monthly basis. And appreciate and adjust and update others so that they can help us to stay elevated and vibrated and healthy. Inshallah. Ameen.
Right on time, Sister Tracy. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
MashaAllah. Okay. This has been great. Thank you all so much for your presentation. Sister Tracy, this was so key. Such great reminders. I think I pinned the wrong person.
I'm not
Still working on trying to figure this pinning thing out. But thank you so much for that. I appreciate the reminder. One thing I know I have to be more mindful of is the shoulder, like dropping my shoulder throughout the day, and also doing the breath work, because you carry so much. Sometimes you feel the physical weight of it. So thanks for that. And I'm learning that no is a complete sentence, and we're doing more and more and more of that. Alhamdulillah. For all the speakers, one thing I wanted to put out there is I really appreciate how every one of you tied in our Islam into our being. It's just a reminder that Islam is a complete way of life, whatever it is that we're discussing. And that's what you'll always find with the Afia Women's Collective or the Afia Project. We always bring in what Islam says about whatever it is that we are doing. Okay, with that said, I'm going to now go to the questions. We can start with the questions that were already put up in the registration. So hang on. First, we're going to have Lola. All right, can y'all see this? Yeah, make sure I have it right. Yes. All right. Oh, someone had a question. Hang on, let me check this real quick. Light yields light, yes. Okay, so Sister Lola, if you can come off mute and answer some of this. So it says the special, I think you already talked about this. So the special light and happy light, etc. at the home actually help with seasonal depression.
Yeah, so it actually mimics the sunlight. And so that's that's how it helps you with seasonal depression. So that's why they say to typically do it in the morning time. Do it earlier for 30 to 60 minutes. And that's when you kind of get the best benefits out of it. And that's how it helps you with seasonal depression. How do you convince your 10-year-old that it's okay not to have a friend at her school?
So perhaps a mom who's worried that they're, maybe the daughter or doesn't have friends at school.
Okay. That's okay not to have friends.
So read the third question. I think they're probably connected.
Yeah, what are some strategies I can use to help her build self-confidence and be able to stand up for herself at school when experiencing bullying? Well, I feel like that's a deeper discussion. Lola, you're muted, by the way. It's a deeper discussion. I don't think we can do justice to it necessarily in this session. It's something that we can definitely look into having a session around, but go ahead and respond out, Lola.
Yeah, that's definitely a bit of a loaded question, I would say, to help kids build self-esteem, be able to stand up for themselves at school when experiencing bullying. That is a loaded question.
I think let's couch
there
it
are
for
a lot
now.
of different, there are a lot of different things that you can do. I'll just kind of mention just a couple of things.
Okay.
Some practices are, I kind of had this conversation with a parent last week, is allowing them some autonomy and allowing them to feel comfortable with their decisions. So for instance, when a parent, oftentimes we'll say, go wear this, go wear that. And we'll say, hey, what do you want to wear? You want to wear A or B, or go pick out an outfit. Or do you think it looks go? Oh, if we think that it may be too cold for them, you might want to let them know you may be too cold for that. You can choose to wear it, but you'll have to, you'll have to deal with the consequences if it's not too cold, and allow them to kind of understand their decisions and be comfortable with their decisions oftentimes. That's a big way to build self-confidence in children. I would say also, oftentimes they come to us and they say, well, what do you think about this? And really reflecting back to them, well, what do you think about it? Well, tell me what your thoughts about it, right? Sometimes when my children come to me and they say, hey, mommy, I don't really necessarily like this. And I'll say, well, if you don't like it, then that's fine. I mean, I'm not going to force you to do something. It's I allow them to have that autonomy. And so it's really reflective of when they go into other spaces, like with children, and a child says, well, I don't like what you're wearing. Like, okay, I mean, you don't have to necessarily like what I'm wearing. Is what I'm wearing. So, it really bleeds into many aspects of their lives. So allowing a lot of that autonomy and allowing them to understand the decisions that they make, and kind of be okay with either the repercussions or the results of the decisions that they make. So it's really loaded. It's a lot of things. It's really hard to answer that in the second, but there's a lot of things that you can use to build self-esteem in them.
Yeah, thank you for that, Lola. So another one, concerned with probable as seasonal affective disorder as the East Coast time changes and daylight hours decrease in the evenings, in addition to like upcoming elections, continuous global conflicts, workload exploitation, exercise time. Inshallah, Lola, I already signed you up for the next session. You're going to be, we really have to get into the seasonal affective disorder and all these things wrapped up into it. So I won't even let you respond to this, because that's something we have to take time to really get into, and how to fortify ourselves as Muslims experiencing this. And the fifth question, what are some particular ways for Muslima to increase vitamin D exposure during this coming months?
So some particular ways for Muslims to increase vitamin D exposure. The first thing I do every day when I wake up, especially during the weekdays, is I open up all the blinds. Open up all your blinds in the house, make it nice and bright, as long as it's, a privacy thing, right? So I make sure the blinds are very open, so that early light, right? Because vitamin D is more condensed in the early light. So making sure all the windows are open. If you telecommute, I often like to work out on the patio. So I actually take myself outside. Supplementation is always a big thing. I oftentimes have to prescribe 50,000 units for a client to take once a week to kind of boost them back up, and then tell them to take their daily kind of over the counter after that, to make sure that they stay in that therapeutic range. But really getting outside.
Yeah, thank you.
Getting outdoors. You're welcome.
All right, yoga instructor, Sister Bahia. So exercises to focus on for weight loss and warmth. And I guess this could be between both Bahia and Sister Tracy as well. So what are some things for weight loss?
So if you know plank pose, right? Plank pose is a really good pose. You get into this pose, and what happens is you're really using your abdominal muscles. You're using your core muscles. Any pose that you have to use your core muscles to do, this is going to, you're going to feel like every second of that pose, right? Because it's very difficult to hold. And what happens is you're burning super calories when you're doing this pose, okay? So the longer you can hold it, the better, you know? Tracy, do you want to add something?
You're muted, you're muted.
I was going to put, I had to come back to the screen. I was going to put a picture in the chat. That's where I was at, or the plank
Oh,
pose.
the plank?
Yeah,
That
I was
would
gonna
be
put a picture.
yeah.
That's what I was gonna
Right.
do. Yes, plank is a complete body workout with no other movement necessary. And if you do forearm plank, that will focus more on the core. When you're on your hands for plank, that does the total body. Another for weight loss is strength training is imperative, especially as we start going through the changes of life. So using weights when we work out is very important for that weight loss, weight release journey. So I wanted to say that a mixture of weight training and cardio together, doing walking or something. When we're a lot younger, we can do just about anything for weight loss. But once we hit the childbearing years or older into that post menopause stage, those two combined together are very good. And also yoga is another thing, because a lot of times when we are in the change of life stage, yoga is something that helps us balance the hormones. And so the hormones is something also that we'll notice a weight gain, a change in our weight, a lot of us. So yoga also is another one that's great for weight loss as well. And not so much restorative, meaning the active yoga. So
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you. So Sister Bahia, back to you. What are some strategies for indoor physical activities for a busy mom of 3 with limited space in the house? What recommendations do you have?
So, use your children, okay? Actually use your children to to work out with, right? So you can work out with them and you can use them, like lift lift the child, No, really, children love to do yoga, right? I mean, you guys could just get in front of a video and do it together, right? That's an easy option. I used to go to the playground with my kids and we would do a freeze tag. I'm running on the jungle gym with them. My heart is racing, I mean, it's a lot of fun. So play with your children, right? As much as possible. They'll remember that. You'll get the benefits of that too. I used to put my kids, if you have toddlers still, actually, I did this even with my sons. I had all boys. I used to do this with my sons, even when they were like 14, 15, big guys. I would lay on my back and put them up on my feet and just hold them, and
Wow.
and bend my knees and push them up and bend my knees and push them up. I hold on to their hands, just, use your children.
Yeah, thanks for
Right?
that.
Because if you can't disconnect from the kids to go to the gym or to have that time for yourself and you feel like the kids are always there, then incorporate them into your workout.
Yeah, thanks. Before we go to the next question, I want to be respectful of everyone's time. We're supposed to go up until 2:30. I know we're going a little bit over. Just know that the session is being recorded, so we will share the recording, the link to the recording with you all. But please feel free to stay along with us. We're almost done. We just have a few more questions. All right, so back to you again, Sister Bahia. Can you speak to breath work, especially for times when a yoga routine is not possible?
Yeah, I mean, the beautiful thing about our breath is it's here for us in every single moment, right? We can go without water, we can go without food. You can't go without your breath. So you always have that possibility to tap into your breathing, just become aware of your breathing. That in itself is enough. Something that I like to do to feel like, especially in prayer, when I want to have that khushua of Allah, I will focus on that pause. There's a very, very subtle, brief pause between the inhale and the exhale, right? That little teeny little pause, right? I think about the fact that Allah is latif. Allah is very subtle, right? Very subtle, like that brief pause that exists between our breaths, you know? So inhaling and exhaling and just being aware of that little pause. So this is what it is with your breath. Just become aware of your breath. It's enough to calm you, to bring that serenity, as Tracy said, into the moment just by doing your breathing. You can learn, of course, all kinds of different yogic breathing, and each one has a different purpose. There's different breaths that will energize you. There's breaths that will relax you and calm you. You know, there's breaths that will help put you to sleep. You know, so there's all different kinds of breathing. And yeah, I do the restorative yoga on Wednesday nights, but Monday nights and Tuesday mornings, I also have a very active kind of yoga class too. So that's just something you can think about too if you're interested in that.
Excellent. Thanks for that. So there were questions for Sister Yakutola, but she just let me know that she had to step away. I can go ahead and forward those questions to her and have it sent to you all, inshallah, in a follow-up email. So next is Sister Tracy with the health coach with some questions here. How do you keep fit and healthy in the cold season?
Hey, yay. That's funny. I was just talking about that with my husband. So one of the things, if we have a home, inshallah, we have one with heat, we can work out in the house. There's always YouTube for things. And then Sister Bahia has the yoga class on, y'all say Wednesday at 9 p.m. I believe that's what was said. So you have that as well. So there's options. The other thing is to, again, your tribe, because sometimes working out on our own is a struggle. So that accountability is a wonderful thing. So we can even work out together virtually. I forgot, I didn't put it on my schedule. I was supposed to go to the gym with Lola this morning. So that's another thing, you know, gym memberships, if we can, if it's in our financial, if it's in our budget, gym memberships. They have different packages to range. So that is a way for the fitness to either stay in the house, use online apps, use YouTube, get with a buddy and y'all can work out together. Y'all can put routines together. The other thing, as far as the food, the wonderful thing with this season is stews, those soups, things like that, comforting food as well. So making nice hearty stews and soup. And again, trying to eat what is in season, because that will help us to be not only healthy of the body, but also healthy in the mind. I hope that answered.
Yeah, no, that's great. Thanks. And I wanted to throw one more thing in. I think Asha left. Asha from Halakha Things. We do have a program with them every month. It's called Sisterhood Stroll. Where am I blanking on that? Sisterhood Stroll. And again, you have to come out. But at least you know you'll be walking with other sisters, good company and things like that. So it goes along the lines with finding your tribe. And just, you know, it's also just something you know is on your calendar, and you're kind of motivated in a different way, knowing that you're going to see other sisters, right? They're asking for you, looking for you if you don't show up. All right. So next question. I'm afraid of not wanting to get more physical. Not want to get more physical activity due to the season changes. I usually just want to hibernate during this time of the year. So what advice do you have for that?
Yeah, reading the second sentence helped me because my head was to the side. And also just wanted to add, the clothing helps a lot if you do outdoor activities during the season. So making sure, like, using that dry weave, the compression kind of items like that, not just putting on these thin summer, spring tights, you know, getting some heavier fabrics to help keep us warm during the season. And okay, cashmere sweaters, baby. Oh, you fly working out outside, huh? That's just about here putting there. Okay. So again, this is accountability, because even being a coach, coaches need coaching too. I have multiple accountability texts, group chats that we check in with each other for our workouts. So that is something that even if I may not feel like doing it, because honestly, we don't always feel like doing it, but because I'm seeing somebody else coming through on my phone, I'm like, ugh, okay, let me go and at least do something, you know, and again, there's multiple options that are out there, but at least doing something. So again, having that tribe, having an accountability circle, or just one person that you can check in and y'all can decide every week, okay, this is my fitness routine for the week. These are how many days I choose that I select I'll be working out, and even planning what you want to do, because it really helps if we have a plan. We're more effective when we put together a plan. Also, to add to that are the different things that we talked about in the presentation is the foods. Foods enhance the mood, which helps the energy. So when we have that energy, therefore, it helps us to want to thrive and not just survive. So those kind of things. Also, the essential oils that Bahia mentioned, certain oils will help us to feel invigorated, peppermint, wild orange, different things like that. And even the grounding ones can help because they'll help us be grounded in that moment. And then it helps us to think about what I need to really do. And having our mind shift, I didn't say this in my presentation, but having a mind shift that instead of looking at reasons why I don't want to, or I can't, or it's such a challenge, let's shift it to the why I should, and making that why so monumentous that it's like, there is no way that I am going to not do it because my why is huge. So looking at reasons why I should do it and how I'm going to do it. So shifting that. So did I answer?
No, thanks. No, that was great.
Sign up for a class. That's right, Bahia. She said, sign up for a class.
Let me just say, you know, when I was in Maryland a little while ago, I was there for my flower farm, and I was exhausting myself on my flower farm, saying no to all my friends who were like, Bahia, let's hang out, let's hang out. I was like, no, I got a farm, I got to get this done. And then I really burnt myself out, and I said, you know what? I'm going to just enjoy myself, right? So I was still going to the farm, but I would stop at some point, and then I would just go take a class. So I one night I took a belly dancing class, right? It was wonderful, right? Beautiful group of sisters. And then the
Very
next day,
feminine too.
yeah, it's very feminine. The next day I went and did roller skating with the 50+ group in Laurel Skate. So, you know, signing up for a class, for some type of movement class, is really good because you connect with other people. And because you've already made the commitment, right? People are expecting to see you, and you've put your money into it. So you're like, oh, I don't want to waste my money, you know? So it's a way of really kind of pushing yourself to do it.
Yeah.
So put that money down.
Exactly.
And that will help you to be accountable, and then share it with somebody, because that too, because you don't want to hear their mouth, especially if you text me, you don't want to hear my mouth. So, but like I said, I just really did an oopsie on Lola this morning. Okay. So, all right, next one.
Strategies and tips to be consistent beyond this session. So that actually could be to everyone on the panel.
Well, I think we said it. One of the things, like Bahia said, is sign up for a class, is making a plan. Every week, try to make a plan, or if you know time does not permit for you, sit down each day and make a plan. So that is very important, to have a plan. So, and the other thing is to share your plan with somebody, you know, even if it's in the house and it's out of the house, and make sure it's somebody that is going to check with you, not give it to somebody that, you know, they're less likely going to hold me accountable. Give it to that stern loved one, family member, friend that you know is going to really check up on you. So that is the other thing that I would suggest. And for working out, another thing is to put your workout gear out. And if need be, put that workout gear on, you know, because then that will help you to move. Meal planning, and I'm speaking more, meal planning is just really effective way to ensure that you'll get it done. And that's a buddy system that you can do too, you know, rotating houses, or being, again, virtually on Zoom, or if you have iPhones, whatever it is, choose a day to say, hey, we're going to spend the hour, 2 hours, and we're going to do some meal planning and prepping. So
Thank you so much. Anyone else want to add to that, ladies? Okay, I think that you covered everything. So I have here the QR code. We would love to hear your feedback about this. It's really important for us to know, you know, how we're doing, if we're meeting your health and wellness goals in terms of being able to put on this types of programming for you all. So here are some of our upcoming events. Feel free to take a screenshot of your screen. And keep that. So we have the restorative yoga coming up this Wednesday, inshallah, October 30th. I already signed you up, like I said, Sister Lola, for sometime in November. The date to be determined, probably Sunday at 1
Don't
p.m.
worry, we'll talk about it.
Exactly. It's an inshallah kind of thing. I shouldn't even put TBD. It should be inshallah. It's going to happen. So we'll delve more into seasonal affective disorder and talk more about that. And I'll, circle around to the other sisters to see when we can set up the dates for, a more in-depth discussion of what you all talked about today. And we have our Fall Family Fall 3K coming up. This is the weekend of Thanksgiving. So it's a Saturday after Thanksgiving. It's a way to just really get the community to come out. Let's get out. We already know how much SAD affects us all. No one is really completely immune to it. It's a way to just encourage you all to get out there, get some fresh air, make some friends, get some vitamin D. Yes, thanks, Sister Tracy. Absolutely. So here's more information about the Wednesday yoga. We've already started this particular session, but you can join anytime. So feel free again to take a screenshot, and you can connect with us, and we'll let you know how to move forward with that. Oh, I think that link is not correct, but I'll have that information along with the follow-up email. So this is more information about the Fall Family Fun 3K. Again, take a screenshot or take a look at this once again after the presentation. And that's just the feedback once again. So I think that's all I have. Yep, that's it for me. How do I stop sharing now? Okay. So thank you all so much for joining us today. It's been a pleasure. Thank you to all the presenters of Sister Lola, Sister Bahia, Sister Yakutullah, Sister Tracy. I greatly appreciate you all. You all did a wonderful job. It was really great to have this space, have this time with you all. And one thing I'm taking away, one of my big takeaways from this is have your tribe. Sister Tracy kept saying that, and it's so true. Have your tribe. They're the ones that are going to always drive you to your health and wellness goals. So let's keep that in mind. Please check us out on social media. If you're not on social media, this is not a way to encourage you to get on social media, because no, I'm not encouraging anybody to get on social media. But if you're already on it, please look us up at Afia Collective, and also at the Afia Project. And more information will follow on email. Thank you all so much. Jazakumullah khair. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.